Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 25th episode of the Tuesday Night Podcast. This is a podcast about board games, card games, role-playing games, and other things you can play on and off your table. I am your host, SBJ, and with me today, I have Alan.
Hey, that's me again. I'm on a totally different computer in a different state, so hopefully I don't sound too different. I'm visiting me Gramps. I made Two Rooms and a Boom, co-owner of Tuesday Night Games. Hopefully my input is valuable.
I feel like if they've been listening long enough, they know that. But I suppose every episode could have new listeners. So hello, new listeners.
Hey.
Hi.
You're looking good, new listeners.
That wonderful voice you heard there is Sean.
Hey, how's it going? I am in the same old closet, in the same old state, not visiting any relatives.
For new listeners, he means in the closet in the classic sense of his sexuality.
I see.
That would be sort of a weird, paradoxical statement. Like,
Hey
yeah,
everyone,
I'm in the closet.
Yeah. I don't know where to go from there. We mixed up the...
Hey, it's St. Patrick's Day.
It's St. Patrick's Day, yes. But by the time people are listening to this, it will be 4 days after St. Patrick's Day.
This is
True.
St. Patrick's Day of the past.
You
people
guys
of the
wearing
future.
any green? I just wanted to ask.
I'm not wearing any.
No, I'm wearing orange.
Okay.
I feel
wear
like
a
you're
green
wearing
jacket
green.
every day, so I was wearing that earlier.
Yeah. All right, we'll edit this out because that was just a waste. I'm sorry, SBJ.
SBJ, edit that out.
Is anyone doing anything tonight after this?
Hanging with the Gramps.
Probably have dinner, take the dog for a walk, maybe watch some Ray Donovan or Veronica Mars, and then finish reading Dune Messiah.
None of that sounds St. Patrick Day-y.
Ray Donovan is about an Irish bunch of people in LA, so that's pretty St. Patty's-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
We have any other intro stuff? I see a couple things on the list here. Alan, you want to touch on any of them before we move into our topic?
Sure. I really liked the monetizing the app. I thought we came to great conclusions last episode, and it seems that having like the host helper for free and then charging for the upgrade of the cardless app or booster packs that seems like the road to go. So I just wanted to thank our listeners and you guys for really making progress. It felt more like a team meeting than it was just a regular podcast that people got to just listen in on. So that was cool. But in sour news, you told us before we started recording that you're not going to be here on the 7th, which is one of our recording days.
I gave you a very huge heads up, I feel like. So hopefully that was...
Yes.
Yeah, that's almost a month from now.
Yeah,
I was
it's good.
planning my schedule today just because I'm doing a million things this weekend, and I was like, well, I might as well look forward to the other busy weekend I have in 3 weeks after that. A lot of stuff. So
When you told us...
I will be at C2E2 this weekend. Again, by the time people listen to this, it'll already be over, but every year at C2E2. C2E2 is the Comic-Con for Chicago. It's put on by ReedPop, the same people who do Comic-Con and Wizard World and stuff like that. But I've had a panel there every year. This will be my 6th year speaking, and last year they gave me a room to hold like 600, 700 people, and
Jeez.
I didn't fill it last year because they put me right next to the Game of Thrones panel that was going on at the same time. But the year before that, they gave me a room of 400 people, and I filled it, and security had to come in and like tell people that they can't save seats because there were more people waiting to sit down. So that was cool.
You're so famous. Thank you for wasting your time on us schlubs.
You know, I try, and
This is your community service.
What? One of the reasons why I'm so busy this weekend is because not only do I have to go there on Sunday, I don't have my presentation even started yet.
What's it going to be about?
Well, it's about Pokemon like it is every year. And
Shocker.
I know, surprise. I think it'll just be the 20th, because they celebrated their 20th anniversary. I think it'll just be like the last 20 years kind of recap. And then I usually open it up to like a Q&A for the last, I always say like the last half hour, but I burn through my content so fast that it's usually like the last 45 minutes of an hour panel.
I think you should talk about like environmentalism and how global warming is affecting the climate that the Pokemon live in. and how we're seeing a massive, extinction rate of Pokemon growing. See if you can get some good out of this, man.
All right.
Yeah, you can totally parallel it to the actual issues going on in the real world and just bring it into the Pokemon world.
Compare like range-free Pokemon versus caged Pokeball Pokemon and like the quality of life that they have.
You can talk about which Pokemon you're going to vote for in the upcoming Pokemon election and how Pikachu is causing a whole bunch of hate and preying on people's hate.
You can bring on guests that have names that sound like Pokemon.
All right. This all sounds premium content. I'm going to transition this into that. We're going to have a panel at Gen Con, I believe. We paid somebody at Gen Con something to reserve a room, so...
Some guy named Ted was renting at his hotel room.
But I don't have too much details on that. I just know that they said that we possibly have a panel and nothing is confirmed, and then they sent another email following it say, we need money.
Oh, Gen Con. The Gen Con shakedown.
Hey, we're really hard up for material. Just talk about this podcast and get everyone at the panel at, what's it called again?
C2E2.
C3PO meets R2D2's love child.
Yes.
C3?
C4E2.
You just
C2E2.
Right
okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. All right. So things happening with me is I'm going to be here next week, although I shouldn't be because it's the annual BOGA retreat. BOGA is the Board Gamers of Greater Akron. So that's my local gaming group here in the Cleveland, Akron area.
Have a name?
And BOGA.
Okay.
And yeah. And it's awesome because it's just a whole weekend at a campground of nothing but gaming. And then we do some outdoor games too, like Assassin and Zombie, whatever. So it's going to be fun. But I'm going to make sure I'm here Thursday night because I love you guys and I love doing this. Unfortunate for everyone else who listens. But also, there is something else I want to mention, and that is Social Meeple is a new website that's coming up. And I would say it's like the Facebook for gamers. Almost does it a bit of a disservice, but it's a very focused meetup type website where you can
like
put
meetup?
in exactly. So you just put in what games you like, and it connects you to the local retailers, and they're working close in hand with the retailers. It's done by a team of guys, one of which I know relatively well, Charles G. So Charles has been working on this, and I have to admit, it's pretty clean, pretty sleek, and if all goes well, I can see a lot of people jumping on the Social Meeple to find out where to go for what events, because it's just very mainstreamed for the tabletop industry. So that's pretty exciting for the tabletop world. Yeah.
And you're how are you involved with this?
I'm talking about it right now.
I think you needed more buzzwords, but it sounds cool.
Yeah. I think it's going to be amazing. I've been on the beta and it looks sweet.
Awesome. Speaking of betas, that's actually also, this is all nothing but bad transitions. Let's move into our topic of the episode.
I like it.
Excuse me, Sam. Do you have the time? Yeah. It's topic time.
World Championship Russian Roulette update. Possibly not in beta anymore. I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, we figured we'd just talk about the current progress in World Championship Russian Roulette because we want the Kickstarter to happen relatively soon. And we've been talking to artists. Uh-oh, phone's ringing over here. That's really bad. Hey, SBJ, edit out the phone ringing.
All right,
I don't have control over this.
Your Gramps has a landline.
He does have a landline. Of course he does.
It's comic gold right there. That's even better.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well you guys can hear all this.
Oh no, we can hear everything.
Hello?
He has an answering machine. This is amazing. Oh, they didn't leave a message. Yeah.
I love.
How awesome would it be if it was some sultry voice
right now?
Hey, what's going on there, baby? This is Billy D. Williams. I'm calling to put it in your butt today. The Gramps.
Gramps, really? Man.
You're with Lando.
Let me tell you why I love spending time with my Gramps. Total off topic, but he has amazing stories. He has a letter from Judi Dench personally to him. And that's just one of several amazing stories that I don't have time to go into. What's that?
Is it tawdry?
Oh yeah, it's very. I mean, we got scandal here, so it's tempting to, basically blackmail Judi Dench with it. But I'm not going to do that because I don't think she'd care. She's cool. Anyway, World Championship Russian Roulette. Kickstarter dates, artists, and Sean and I have been working. And Sean, where are we at with the artists? You want to talk about the artists?
We hired a guy named Weberson Santiago, who most people know him from The Bloody Inn, which came out last year, pretty popular. He also did the Brazilian version of Coup, which is pretty well liked, the art in that version. Really kind of gritty, noirish style, and we're super happy to have him on board to do the cover and the characters.
We were torn between other individuals. Should we talk about that roster, or is that not professional to talk about people that
I don't think that's professional. Because I'd still like to work with some of these people in the future.
Yeah. We were torn.
These are the people who didn't make the cut.
Well, that's really harsh. We had a very specific style we were looking for. And the long story short of it is the other artists, great talent, but they'd have to modify their natural style to fit the one we're looking for. Whereas Santiago, boom, it's already there. We're like, oh yeah, this is very simple, very stylistic. You just do your thing, man. Just do
hard
your
decision,
thing.
Yeah. And we haven't worked
really
with enough artists that, like, if this was our 5th or 6th game and we had hired a bunch of artists before, I think it would be easier, because I think every time we make a decision, the second time we make it, it's a lot easier, or we just care less, because we'd say, oh, we've done this again. Obviously, we're going to do it in the future. But the first time you really go outside the company and hire an artist, it's you're rolling the dice, But I'm excited about it. He's working on the sketches right now.
SBJ, you know the difference between illustration and graphic design, don't you?
Yes, I'm terrible at illustration, but I'm good at. I suppose I'm good at laying out like text and stuff. Like I did the artwork for the podcast.
Yeah. You want to teach our listeners the difference between us hiring the illustrator and us hiring the graphic designer?
Well, I would assume, at least in my mind, and how I've done it in other business-like places, is the illustrator is doing the individual graphics, but the graphic designer's putting together the entire package.
So what would that look like in a card game like World Championship Russian Roulette? I'm putting you on the spot.
It would be the illustrator would do the art that goes on the cards, but the graphic designer would be the one that actually lays out the cards and adds like any borders or typography or numbers to the cards over or under the illustrations.
Nailed it. Yeah. So we also hired a graphic designer. Who is that, Sean?
We hired Adam McIver, who we love. He did the illustrations of Alan and I in the rule book of Two Rooms and a Boom, and he did not get credit for that in the first edition.
Solid.
And he did an amazing job. Super solid. He was totally graceful and really amazing. And he's even our limited interaction with him, he's one of our favorite people to work with. And he just got done doing Tiny Epic Western. He also did his own game, Coin Age. And he is just,
I have both those
one
games.
of the few. Yeah, he is a great graphic designer. He did 7 Sevens, I think, which we also loved, but super great guy. He's the one who actually made all the recommendations for us on artists. And I think we're hoping to move him into a sort of art director, recurring graphic designer role as time goes on, because he's just super talented. And while I think I'm a competent graphic designer, I think Alan and I are moving into that place as publishers where our effort is better spent. Like Alan's time is better spent designing. My time is better spent like handling business stuff, jumping on SBJ, doing the website, that kind of thing, than it is doing the nitty gritty of like every card and every page, that kind of stuff. I think there are just better people out there for that.
We really fought for the job of jumping on SBJ, but Sean won in the end.
Because I'm heavier.
I'm happy either way.
That's right, you are.
So we also have to work on the Kickstarter date, and Sean and I talked today that we really want to start marketing the actual launch date of our Kickstarter, and we don't have that yet. But Sean, do you know off chance, like when's the last date to hit the please print this game manufacturer in order to get the game out in time for the Gen Con release that we're hoping for?
See, Gen Con is like August. Do we have a date on that right?
August 4th.
August 4th, July, June, May. Whew. It'll be
not possible.
It'll be really close. it's like a 3-month schedule with Panda. They need about 30 days of checking out the game, like pre-production, they call it 30 days of printing, and then another 30 days of shipping. Then we got to ship it to backers.
Why wouldn't you?
However, we could do Gen Con pickup, that kind of thing, and we could go into it knowing, hey, if we make it by Gen Con, we're going to do Gen Con pickup. If we're not going to make it by Gen Con, we're not. So it would be close. It would be one of the days in April, and it would really depend on, how quick.
So the sooner in April, the better. So we really got to get a move on if we want that to happen. And that's if everything runs smoothly. And we all know that it usually does. There's never any hiccups.
Never. We're talking about
anything.
Gen Con 2017, by the way. We're not talking Gen Con.
Yeah. No, I meant 2016.
Have you guys worked with Sorry, I don't know anything about this. Have you guys worked with Panda before?
Panda's who we worked with on Two Rooms at a Boom. But we had problems with our components, which were not under Panda's control. This time we're using all stuff that they print in-house that we think will be quicker. We're using all standard sort of stuff, and we're bringing on artists and graphic designers now who are, going to be sort of working now, that kind of thing.
Let's be really fair to Panda too. They did a fantastic job with their components. So everything they did, the box, the rule books, etc., I'm really happy with. The issues we had were the cards, and they had to go to a separate printer for that because they had never done plastic cards before. So they had to outsource for that.
And they told us, hey, this is an experiment, that kind of thing.
Right. And the first people they went with, obviously, they, for lack of a better term, fired or went with someone else because of the transparent card issues.
Yeah, I don't know what you would call. Yeah, I mean, they found a different material or a different supplier, and that kind of stuff. It's always weird introducing a completely new product into your line if you're a manufacturer, because there's a million things that can go wrong, as we've talked about before.
Yeah, and you'll be able to get that entire story with our Boomer Doom documentary, which we're still working on as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask?
It'll be right up next after World Championship Russian Roulette.
Can I ask? Do you guys have what's in mind for reward tiers? Is it going to be simple where back copy of game pick up at Gen Con, back copy of game shipping, back copy of game international shipping, or
are you saying bad copy?
Back.
It sounds like you're saying back copy. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to back copy. Okay. Yeah, we talked before, and I'd like to go as simple as possible, making it sleek and elegant, not going crazy at all as far as having some crazy high level where you get to get your name in the rule book, and Sean and I will do a video dance, and we'll send you a stool sample. We don't want any of those pledge levels. I think the fewer the better is what I'm going for. Wouldn't you agree, Sean? Or
yeah, I think, and we didn't even really have a ton of pledge levels in our last campaign. We had a decent amount. We had a decent amount of stretch goals too, but I think we're finding more and more that like a good sign, I think, for a board game company is when your games can succeed on just saying like, hey, this is the game. This is the game we're putting out. You want it or you don't want it. I think miniatures games do really, really well with all the bonuses and stuff like that. But I'm starting to think in board games, card games, that kind of stuff, it's just not worth it. You probably want like a retailer level or something like that. But especially now that Kickstarter added the ability to add different shipping tiers within specific pledge levels, that helps a lot too.
Are you guys doing stretch goals?
We're not sure yet. So that's something that we have to uncover in the next couple of weeks. If we did have stretch goals, they would probably be not to add in more content, but just to improve the current quality if possible. So I don't want to tell people you can expect some crazy ass stretch goals where if we get so many backers, you're going to get a whole nother player. So instead of being a 2 to 6 player game, it's going to become a 2 to 12 player game or something like that.
I'd almost rather do something like totally personal. Like I saw Monikers launched their new Kickstarter
I already
today.
backed. Yeah.
For Monikers something. A beautiful video. It made me super jealous. It made me completely want to change the way we do Kickstarter videos. So you guys should check that out now if you haven't. But they're doing like a handwritten note, I think, for backers or something like that, like a personalized note in games. I like stuff more like that now, like that, or like signed copies that don't increase the per unit cost, because the thing that sucks about stretch goals we're now realizing is, let's say you add all these awesome stretch goals, and that allows you to afford to be able to add all these things in the box, but they also up the per unit cost of the game up enough to where like over time Kickstarter backers are hopefully only the first 2, 3, 4, 5,000 customers you'll have of the game. You'll have multiples and multiples of that over the life of the game, and that's money you're losing now because of the added expense of adding in all these extra components.
Yeah, what Sean is saying is that you have way fewer sales through Kickstarter than you will through the course of however long the game is alive and for sale. So you don't want to blow it on that. But I also just want to give the secret sauce is this. The real successful way to do stretch goals, and some people may burn me for saying this, is you come in pricing the game out with all the stretch goals possible, and you release a dumbed down version on Kickstarter, and you have these stretch goals that you were already planning on having anyway, which is why in so many Kickstarters that when they succeed, if they didn't meet all their stretch goals, they usually have this email at the end of the campaign saying, you know what? You guys are so awesome. We're so grateful that we're just going to throw in those last 2 stretch goals anyway because we're so happy and you made this happen. It's all just kind of smoke and mirrors because they already had that in their pricing. And if they're really smart, they may have already sent the files to the printer anyway to get the game into the hands of their backers as quick as possible. So a lot of the stretch goals...
If we have the cash flow and the artwork done, and the Kickstarter's going and it looks like we're going to be successful, I'd absolutely send the files off just to get a heads up.
Absolutely. So that's one of those horrible trade secrets of Kickstarter you don't hear about, is that stretch goals sometimes they're bullshit because they're just there to obviously encourage people to share the campaign, but they're already in there anyway. So I know that. Go for it. As
you've backed way more Kickstarters than I have, and I've backed probably close to 100 now, and I've created 3. But even when I thought about putting stretch goals in, and I did for some because that was like the hot fad and everything. Like you got to have stretch goals to have. Like now, after doing projects and after seeing the stretch goal effect, and after seeing how other companies do stretch goals, I feel like it's almost a turnoff because of the smoke and mirror, or because I know it's going to delay the product or whatnot. I don't know. I just like
Kickstarter just like evolves and changes as it gets older, and like the way we handle marketing changes as well, And I think that's the same thing with stretch goals, to where like they're probably going to go out of fashion right now, but I could see in the future saying, hey, this is something we'd really like to do, but only if the interest is there, but not using it as just part and parcel of every single Kickstarter campaign, only using stretch goals to say, hey, no, seriously, like if we can get this much money, we would love to include this component, and we've thought about it, but it's only right at this price, as opposed to, stretch goals every 5, 10, 12,000 like we were doing.
Yeah. Do you think though, like, I'll ask Alan this because he's back so many. Have you looked at stretch goals and gone like, maybe if I just up my pledge a little more, they'll hit that?
In the beginning, I certainly did. I shared the crap ton out of them. And now I realize for us, it was a lesson learned because we wanted those stretch goals because we didn't know how much success Two Rooms and a Boom would bring us outside of Kickstarter, which is a little foolish in hindsight. And I think adding in those stretch goals is almost an insult to the game in a way, because the game, as Sean already said, should be successful outside of the Kickstarter world. And of course, we want to make our backers as happy as possible, for sure. And we want to show the appreciation. But the game has to be viable on its own without the, kickstart of, you need the kickstart from your backers to show that there's a market for it. But once you get that threshold, like, all right, we have enough backers that this game is viable on its own, anything else can hurt the game. But yeah, it does work. The stretch goals do work. They motivate people to share the project. So yeah, I have done that.
Okay, so we're expecting an April release of Russian Roulette and a Gen Con
Tell your friends.
Release date.
Yeah.
Is that
yeah,
that would
too
be
long
nice.
didn't listen?
Yeah, we'll get more details on that as the podcast goes on, as we nail these down. So Sean and I are going to be working really hard as you're hanging out at the R2D2 festival. And we also have exciting news about the Kickstarter video. You want to talk about that a little bit, Sean? I know that Captain Chessbeard's nudging me a lot.
This isn't really confirmed. We're hoping to do it with the Board with Life crew.
And Sean?
And Anthony Birch, the designer of the game.
Why wouldn't he want? It's his game. Like,
well, he lives in California and that kind of thing, and so just like wrangling everybody together and making sure schedules work. And he works on a TV show as it is.
Maybe
So, I mean,
we
he would
should
love.
save that story for another time, but I'd love to hear how you guys got together and how like the development of the game started.
Sure, yeah.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut anyone off.
Yeah, yes, you did.
And I'd like to thank ye for it.
Well, none of us have really played anything except Alan here, so let's close out the show with what Alan has been playing, and let's see if Alan can pitch us a game that may or may not be worth buying. So,
It's time for a table talk.
all right, Alan, what
All right.
do you got for us?
I've played a lot of games in this last week, but I want to lie and just tell you I've played one, so I'm more prepared for the elevator pitch. But you know what? Screw that. I'll give you guys a list,
All right.
and you guys can do this because I want to be a true elevator pitch master, so I think it's trial by fire. The harder this is, maybe the better I'll get, because I don't think I can go anywhere but up. But here we go.
Oh, it is an
I
elevator.
played... That's a good point. That's funny.
They also go down, you guys.
Shh.
I played Cheaty Mages again. I played the Two Rooms and a Boom app again. I played more Off Your Rocker. So those are games that people played previous weeks, and they said, hey, let's play this again. So we had to play those again. But the newer ones, Scoundrel Society, played Wink, played the game Hocus, which Adam McGyver was the graphic designer for. Gorgeous graphic design and gorgeous art in that one. Spooks, and Seventh Hero. Oh, we also played Cause of Death Ghost as well. More people requested Cause of Death Ghost. So I'm excited to get that up on the website as well, because the local players and playtesters seem to really like it and request it a lot, which is exciting because it's such a small, dumbass game. I love it.
God, I love Cause of Death Ghost, and I haven't even seen or played it.
You're such a big part of it, SBJ.
I want you to elevator pitch Seventh Hero
Damn it.
as a person who only knows numbers as the number 7.
Okay. That's it. So it's basically me, but I only know the number 7.
That's correct.
All right, this is going to be confusing as balls that won't stop moving, but here we go. Ding me, SPJ. Hey, welcome to the elevator. Which floor are you going to? 7th? Good, that's convenient, because I'm going to tell you about Seventh Hero. It's a really kind of micro game, if you will. It can be played within 15 minutes. It plays
7 minutes.
Oh, did I? Damn it! Sorry. All right. Starting this again. This is hard. Hey! Welcome to the elevator. I am going to tell you about this game, Seventh Hero, and it plays 7 to 7 players in 7 minutes. It's amazing. What you have to do is you get dealt out 7 cards, and you win the game as soon as you can get 7 out into play. But each of these 7 cards tell you between 7 and 7 abilities that you can use. These 7 abilities can change what people can play, but when you draw a card, it commands what other cards other players can play. For instance, they may only be able to play the 7th to 7th card, or they can play the 7th, 7, or 7 card. So based upon what quest that you have, you can play it. It's really fun and light. What's interesting about the game is the theme. The theme could be any theme whatsoever, and AEG published this game, and they kind of chose a crappy theme of unknown heroes with special abilities. It has the art of a really deep game, art reminiscent of Thunderstone, but realistically, they should have gone lighter. They really mixed their demographics here. So it's deceptive. It looks like it's a heavier game than it is. I recommend you pick it up because it's one of those harmless games. You get to play it, and it takes only 7 minutes to play. Woo-hoo-hoo! Get 7 of your friends together, and I'm at the 7th floor. I'll see you 7 later.
Perfect.
Damn
I
it.
like that. I want to start doing more challenges for elevator pitches.
So my one question is, how many people can play the game?
It's a really good question. In reality, it can play 3 to 5 players. I played it with 3 players, and Sean gave me the worst challenge possible because the translation is you win the game as soon as you're able to play 6 cards into your play area. There's heroes 1 through 7, and each of those heroes have a different ability. Like you get to refresh a different hero's ability, or you can totally cancel another player's action. But the way it works is you have to pass a card face down to the other players, and they either accept it or they reject it. And if they accept it and it's not a hero they have, it goes into their tableau. And as soon as you have 6 of the 7 heroes in your tableau, you win. So anyway, it's basically reading people's minds. But if you accept a card and you do have that hero already, it's that evil hero's evil clone. And those 2 evil heroes duke it out and they kill each other in the process, which is just a fancy way of saying you have to get rid of that hero. So now you have 1 fewer hero in your tableau. But it's super light. It's super quick. Yeah, it's reminiscent of a Senjai Kanai game, but not quite as elegant, I would say, as a classic Senjai Kanai game. It is fun. It's, again, a harmless game because it only takes about 15 minutes to play. And it's super quick to teach.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't have any more questions. You explained it pretty well. I mean, you said it was a pretty simple game.
It is.
Awesome. Well, I think that wraps it up for you guys. I don't know if you liked how we've mixed up the podcast a bit with adding table talk to the end, but if you want to share your thoughts, you can email us at podcast@tuesdaynightgames.com or
Built the K.
Or you can follow us and tweet at us on Twitter. That seems to be the more popular route right now. So that is our Twitter handle is PlayTKG. Yeah, I always think if I said it wrong, but I'm good. Alan, where can they find you?
You can find me at Alan Girding on the tweets. That's ALANGER DING. Or you can friend me on Facebook. I'm incredibly lonely. I'll accept any friend request. That's Alan Girding.
And Sean?
You can find me at Sean McCoy. That's SeanMcCoy.
Awesome. You guys can follow me on Twitter. It is at Dragging a Lake. Otherwise, this episode is
7.
Finished.